compatible, like that. And it also makes us better.
Sure, but
we do have
but all those things you listed, if you were to have sex with them on the same timeline that you've had sex with these casual encounters, that wouldn't preclude you from any of those other things that you want to explore with a partner.
Can I give one example?
Absolutely. Go
So
ahead.
how would you feel if would you prefer someone to buy you a really nice gift, an expensive gift, or take you for a weekend away?
Take me for a weekend away.
Okay. How would you feel if you were dating a guy and all you wanted was for him to take you for a nice weekend away, but he made you wait 3 months, and then you found out that 5 other girls, he took them for a nice weekend away straight away? How would that make you feel?
I mean, I would just ask him, why did you what is it about me that made you not want to take me away? If this is what you were doing with all the other girls, I'd be like, oh, maybe I'm not like all the other girls then, Well,
it's kind of a special thing to take someone away for a weekend. So would you feel that maybe he doesn't have the same sort of burning desire to spend that time with you?
I mean, I'd have to communicate with him about it.
But
I don't know.
Do you think, like, logically, that would mean that he doesn't have the desire to want to spend that time with you straight away?
No.
Because for us, it's like a woman's body is very sacred. So if I want to be in a relationship with a girl and she says to me, you're going to wait, if you're Logan Paul, though, and like and you find out that she's slept with a bunch of different guys straight away, then you're going to feel like she just doesn't really have that desire for you. Did you see the whole Logan Paul situation?
No.
So Logan Paul's wife, they went on podcast together, and she was saying how, I made him wait, and he was saying, yeah, like that's how I knew she was the one. And then he was fighting a guy, and then the guy Dylan Dennis came out with all of these photos of all these guys that she'd been with, and it turns out she hadn't exactly been so tempered with her body before that. So then Logan Paul got taken the piss out.
But these are different people. Like in my life, it's someone who I have a deeper connection with, and I want to have that deep connection with, versus, a night out in Europe. Like it's just a whole different realm.
Yeah. So you're thinking it very much from your perspective, though. It's kind of not really hearing much empathy with how the guy might feel, because whether they admit it or not, like us guys have big egos, right? So when we have our girl, if we find out that she's given it away to guys really easily beforehand with us, and then she made us wait, it makes us look like a mug. And then other people, when they see that, like if I saw my mate and he was with a girl and he's like, yeah man, I think she's the one, she's making me wait, and then Brian was like, no, I hit it first night. I would think that like my friend was like a bit of a mug getting made to wait like that.
Really?
So guys guys have that politics, and maybe you're not aware of it, but
I think it depends on the guy.
You have to think about the ego of the man that you're...
I think it depends on the ego of the man.
Well, and to add to what Jake is saying, it's kind of like the way we might view it is, women often, for example, might complain about fuckboys, right? So you reward the fuckboys who will never give you commitment with immediate sex, and you're going to punish the guys worthy of a relationship by making them wait weeks, months, or even until marriage. And look, ultimately, it's certainly your prerogative. If you want to have 100 previous sexual partners, you slept with them, 100 previous sexual partners, you slept with them on the first date, and then the next guy, we're waiting until marriage. That's 100% you're right. We're coming at it from the guy's perspective of, hey, 100% you're right. If that was your previous standard, all the other guys you slept with immediately, now you want to make me wait for marriage, that's your right. But we're going to view that in a certain type of way of like, you're not the girl for... A lot of guys are going to feel a certain type of way about that. They're going to have an issue with that.
Yep.
And it does seem to me to be, I don't know if it's a bit of a double standard to some degree. Like you have not in the typical sense of a double standard, but you have one standard for this cohort of men and a different standard for another cohort of men. So, yeah.
Can I make a comment on something you guys said?
Sure.
Please.
So when you guys were talking about like, she's the one because she waited to sleep with you, maybe that's why like a lot of women, I think also, if I'm trying to pursue a guy in a relationship, I want, like, a lot of guys' perspectives are, oh, she's gonna make me wait, so she's the one. If I'm trying to pursue this guy, I want to be the one, you know? So I'll be like, oh, it will show a good it's a good foot forward if I don't sleep with him on the first date, because that means when I'm interested in him,
I'd say
I want to hear about him. Like, it's not just about sex for me.
I'd say you've got a good point in terms of the fact that you want to present yourself as somebody who's a long-term partner.
Yeah.
However, you have to be very wary of your past coming back to bite you in that regard. In terms of if he's a proud guy and he finds out that actually, in fact, you didn't make other people wait, then that's going to be an issue. But if you're somebody who has a track record of making people wait, or if you're somebody who's saving themselves to a marriage, for example, then a guy's going to really respect that.
Okay.
I guess, yeah.
I think that it sets up a completely different dynamic what you choose to do. So if you're sleeping with a guy on the first date and you know you don't want anything serious, you're letting him know that. I think there's an understanding when you're going into a date or pursuing someone in a relationship that both of you are waiting. Sure, one more person might be eager, but there's an understanding that you're getting to know one another. In the past, like if I've slept with someone earlier after getting to know them, that never results in a relationship. That leads into a situationship or friends with benefits. And I think that waiting structures a successful relationship.
I get it, but I guess I do get what you're saying. And, you know, you do want to set a precedent, but you can't really have your cake and eat it. Because if that's not your standard all the time, then it can't be your standard for me. And my personal standards, and like a lot of the guys who I know, would be the exact same like that.
So are you saying that if you ever did a one-night stand in your life, that you no longer you're not up to standards to have a relationship if the girl wants to wait? If you once in your life had a one-night stand, and then you meet someone that you want to pursue a relationship with, and she wants to wait, but you didn't wait in the past.
If her standard was that she always makes people wait, and if she didn't respect the fact that I had one-night stands, then that would be fair enough if she didn't want to do that.
Okay.
Sneaklicious donated $200. Hello to all. I wonder where the podcast will go this time.
That is a good question.
I do too.
Who knows? Who knows where it will go? Maybe someone will pull out.
No, I do see your point. I think a lot of guys would say, "Oh yeah, men and women are different," and men and women are different in that regard when it comes to promiscuity and sleeping around. But I would say that if I met a woman and she was like a woman of high moral principle, and she said, I've waited so much and I've resisted so much temptation, and you've done this, this and that, sorry, I would understand, because my past has come back to bite me.
Sure, but do you yourself feel like these one-night stands made you ineligible for a good relationship?
They probably did affect it, yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. Even like guys are different. I do think that guys are different to girls in that regard. But I would say that definitely, if you look at a person who's like a really devout Christian or Muslim the whole life, and they wait till marriage, then they're going to be of a different. They're going to think about sex and relationships and everything very differently. But the world that we live in, we're surrounded by so much temptation and so much freedom and liberty and Yas Queen and everything, that it's very hard to sort of fend off that temptation sometimes. So, yeah, that's what I'd say about that.
Yeah, and I mean, as far as, and I think there's certainly a scope to it too. I mean, you said if a girl had one night stand, and then moving on from there, her new standard became, well, I'm going to wait for all my future partners. I think that's a little different than a girl who's perhaps had multiple casual engagements. Say she has had 10, 20, 30 of the 10, 20, 30 guys she's had sex with, that she all did it immediately. Then, oh, this is the guy I want to be in a relationship with. I want to wait 3 months, 90-day rule or something like that. It doesn't come across as like an actual authentic standard. It just seems like you've just totally, and it's your prerogative to shift, but we're not saying women shouldn't be allowed to do that. And of course, you should, if you want to change for the better, fantastic. But don't expect men to accept your past. We also have a right to discernment and judgment, just as you do. And we're allowed to have preferences, standards, and boundaries. So